Hello, dear friends. Welcome to episode 1 of Being an Everyday Hero. My name is Brett Culp. In this episode, we're going to talk about the concept behind the everyday hero. And I think as we chat about this, you'll find some perspectives that may change the way you think about yourself, your own identity, and the power that you have to create a positive impact in your world. This podcast is for people who see everything they do, each part of their life, as an opportunity to give back, make a difference, and bring more light into the world. If you want to make a positive impact that is beyond yourself, that extends into helping others, you are an everyday hero. And this podcast is about growing together in that noble adventure. Whether you serve or care for people as part of your professional life, or you want to bring more of that heroic spirit into your everyday tasks and interactions with others, you will find insights, perspectives, and encouragement in every episode. So thanks for joining me, and thanks for being an everyday hero. And in this particular podcast, this first podcast, I want to kind of explain what I mean by the title, this idea of everyday heroes, what that is, what an everyday hero is. But chances are that if you connected with this little introduction I gave a second ago for what this podcast is about, then you are an everyday hero. And I look forward to talking about that more in just a minute. If you don't know me, my name is Brett Culp, and I am a filmmaker, and I've created films all over the world for all different types of groups and individuals. I tend to make movies that are very upbeat and positive and inspirational, sometimes a little emotional, but films that are designed to help us connect and love each other, and that are also often used to make an impact for charities and for organizations, and to be tools for people that want to make a positive difference and be superheroes in their own communities. And so let me kind of, that's my background. That's a little bit about me, but let me dive into what I'm thinking about today, about everyday heroes. Back in 2014, I finished a documentary film called Legends of the Night. If you've never seen it, it's now on Netflix and iTunes, Hulu and Amazon and all kinds of places. And Legends of the Night tells the stories about people who were inspired to become real-life heroes because of their childhood love of Batman. That's right, Batman. The film is about the impact stories can have on us and how heroic stories can shape us. But on an even deeper level than that, Legends of the Night is about the capacity that all of us have to be superheroes. Before the film was on Netflix and other digital platforms, my wife Trisha and I decided to do something very unique with this film, something that I didn't know of a precedent for or anyone else that had done anything quite like this. We decided to invite anyone in the world to screen Legends of the Night, to do a showing in their local community, and with the proceeds from that screening going to the charity of their choice. So they put together a screening. You can still do this in your community right now. You put together a screening of the film, and whatever money you raise from ticket sales or anything else goes to your local charity that you choose. And we didn't have any idea whether this would work, whether people would be excited to do it, whether they would want to do it. But after offering this invitation, we found people just respond in an incredible way to this and really step up and do something wonderful and heroic in their communities. They started hosting these screenings of the film, and people would show up in superhero costumes and screen the film and create wonderful exposure and for a local charity and awareness for it. And in the process of it, they would raise money at those screenings. And some of those screenings raised, a couple $100, and some of them raised $25,000. It really was a broad span, but it was incredible to watch it happen. And in the process of that, watching that happen really redefined for me what it is to be a hero. We had no budget for this. We didn't have money to pay these people to organize these screenings. We had zero marketing budget, zero PR, no full-time staff to manage this. It was all done on a volunteer basis. And we saw, tens of thousands of people show up for these screenings, but we also saw hundreds of people rise up as leaders, within their community to make these screenings happen, to organize them, to invite people, to really be the driving force behind the screening. And the reality was that most of these people had never done any type of, extensive charity work or fundraising or planning of a charity event. They'd never done anything like that before. This was all brand new to them. But they had this incredible opportunity to become leaders in their community by organizing this in a very grassroots way. And it was so incredible to watch that happen. As a filmmaker and as an artist, whether you're a musician or any type of creative work you're just delighted to have followers, just to have people that are interested in your work. But I got to watch people become leaders in this process. And that was just an incredible thing to happen. And so I saw just average people. They didn't have background in charity work. They didn't have a degree or never worked in one of these, in a charity or a not-for-profit organization. But I saw them step up and really do something incredible in their community. And it changed my perspective on the capacity that we have to be leaders and to be heroes. We tend to think when we use the word hero of, a really epic story or something unbelievable. But for me, I've redefined hero as someone who is willing to do something difficult and uncomfortable to help someone else, not just to help themselves. A lot of us are willing to do something difficult and uncomfortable to help ourselves. Some of us aren't even willing to do that, but most of us are willing to be a little uncomfortable for our own personal development or to accomplish our own personal goals. But the people who are willing to get uncomfortable and be in the tough spots and do things that are new and challenging for them to help someone else, that for me has become the new definition of hero. And what I learned in that process, and now that my eyes are open to it, I see it everywhere, is that the world is filled with those kinds of heroes. And most of the time you don't know them. You've never heard their stories. You've never met them. And it's not like you open up the news and see what they're doing. But there are so many people that are doing difficult things every day, and they're doing it to make the world a better place for others. And I have a feeling that you're probably one of those people, that kind of spirit is what lives in your heart. And I think the way that I know that, and the way that I kind of at this point determine that, is by the way you see the story of this world playing out and how you see that story ending. We are surrounded by things that are really difficult and dark every day. You do not have to look far to see sickness and pain and hatred and evil and just ugliness in the world. And I think that we can become very cynical about all that if we start to believe, if we allow ourselves to believe that is the way the story ends, that is how it's all going to come down. When it's all said and done, that is what will define us, that darkness. But I think there's so many of us that raise our fist in the air and say, the darkness will not have the last word. That is not how the story ends. That is not the conclusion of our tale together. That is not our journey. And when you're willing to not only raise your fist in the air, but make a choice every day in your behavior, in your words, in your actions, that says, I believe that the story ends with love. And the finale will be one of hope and kindness and compassion and goodness. That mentality, carrying that attitude with you into your life, that is how you know. That is how you know that you're a hero. And that is, in my judgment, what it means to be an everyday hero. To look at every circumstance and every situation, even if it's one that has darkness in it, and to say, you know what? I don't believe that darkness is going to win. I can see it, but I don't believe it will have the last word. And I believe at whatever level that I can today, I will engage in bringing light to this, in bringing love and compassion to this. And that really is at its core what it is to be, for me, an everyday hero. And the work of that, doing that, which is so beautiful and so rewarding in whatever space you find yourself, that you can bring light into the world. It's so rewarding to do it, but it also is tiring. You know, it can be exhausting because you're pouring out of yourself, of your spirit, of your heart into the world. And sometimes you pour out so much and there's not enough being poured in. I so much can relate to that. Can you relate to that? There are times in my life when I feel so much. I wonder so much. I get so tired. And those are the times when I need someone to pour into me and to inspire me and to encourage me and to lift up my arms when they're tired. And for me, that's what this is about. This podcast, this recording, this me rambling on like this is about. I have such a heart today for walking with you through the struggles of being an everyday hero. I have seen so much in my filmmaking. I have in the films that I have made in Legends of the Night and Look to the Sky, this next film we're working on, and so many other film projects that I have worked on over the years. I have seen so many heroes and watched them and seen the struggles and the difficulties and the determination. And then in the process of helping these charitable organizations, I've been able to engage with them and see all of the work and effort that goes into what they're doing. And I just have this heart to want to dive into that and be an encouragement, to be a help, to be a light in your path in whatever way that I can. You know, you have been called to something beautiful, and it's the intersection of the gifts that you have, that you have brought to this world, and the needs of this world. I find for myself and for others that when you can find that crossroads, that intersection between your giftedness and the world's need, what the world needs, that it's really the place you belong, the place you were born to be, not only the place where you can make a difference, but the place where you feel the most reward and the most joy and the most peace in your journey. And when you find that place, it is incredible. But you learn at some point that the downside of it is that you're the only one that can stand there. There was a call, you can have people help you, and there are other people that have similar callings, but you have a work to do. You have something that draws you and that gnaws at your heart that you need to be about. And you know that. I know that about me, and you know it about you. And no one else can do exactly what you can do. No one else has the opportunities that you have to help. No one else can do exactly what you can do because you have this uniqueness that you bring, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I can't do that work for you, and nobody else can do the work that you were brought into the world to do. But I and others, we can walk with you. And that's my heart. That's what I want to do, is to be someone that can walk with you through that journey, so that you always know, even when it seems like it, you know that you're not alone in that. And that's the power of sharing our stories with each other, right? That's what story is at its heart all about. It's about someone speaking and someone listening, and both knowing in the process that they are not alone, that someone else understands what it is to hurt and to struggle and to go through difficulty, and to go through it together. And so my hope is that this podcast will speak to your heroic heart and will be a place of joy and encouragement and peace and togetherness and connection for you. So my goal is to create these episodes with topics and ideas that would make you walk away knowing that you are enough, and that the work you're doing is important, and the love that you have in your heart is real and good, and that the world needs it, it needs you, and that we can also have some peace and rest and joy together in that process. So thanks for spending this time with me for a little while. I'm looking forward to the next time and the next thoughts that we'll talk about together. Have a heroic day.